So I feel that ki valuation is something which is very subjective, right? If investors are ready to pay, and if entrepreneurs can sell the story, like why they think the certain valuation is justified for their company, right? For example, I'll tell you. Uh, so what if any like second time entrepreneur who already built like say 1000 crore brand and he's starting a new company, right?
নমস্কার, আমি পবিশা। আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত পবিশাস জ্ঞানে। পবিশাস জ্ঞানে আজকে আমরা চলে এসেছি আরওসিতে আভনি মলে ফেব্রুয়ারি মাসের মিট আপ কভার করতে। প্রত্যেক মাসের মতো আজকে কত তারিখ? আজকে 23 ফেব্রুয়ারি 2025। এই তিতলিয়া গার্লস যে আমার এই ড্রেসটিকে স্টাইলিং করেছে, আজকে স্টাইলিং পার্টনার হলো তিতলিয়া ফ্যাশন স্টুডিও আর আশা, জয়ী অ্যান্ড তাসনিম। তো আমরা আজকে একটু ভিতরে চলে যাব এবং দেখে নেব ভিতরে কি কি হচ্ছে। তবে এরপরে আপনারা পবিশাস জ্ঞান হিন্দি এবং ইংলিশেও পাবেন। তো আমরা ভিতরে আসি, চলুন। নমস্কার।
Thank you. So this was not planned, but anyway, so I started my journey pretty much early when I was 15-year-old, and I've been investing in stock market and listed companies since last like 10 years. And fortunately, over the years, I've met all the right people at the right time, like Arun Bhai, and like there are a few other mentors. So I think that helped me a lot in my journey, because like it's better to always learn from other people's mistake rather than committing and learning, because that takes a lot of time. So I think and I'm a huge believer in this quote that you're the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with, right? So I always make sure that the people I'm spending my time with, or people with whom I'm learning, they are like probably the expert in their own field, so eventually I'll become like them. So yes, like if you guys have any query regarding funding and anything, you can shoot your queries. Yeah.
Yes, please ask your questions. Please feel free. This has to be a very interactive session. I don't want everyone to sleep off.
So basically, I'm an accidental investor. I never planned to came in the market. So I always wanted to become a pilot since childhood. But when I was 15, my dad passed away. So I had to drop my plan of becoming a pilot, and I had to come and join my dad's business along with my elder brother. So mom was a housewife. Unfortunately, that business was not doing well, because at the same time I was managing my studies and managing dad's business. So unfortunately, we had to shut it down in 2 years. So I was constantly looking for some other source of income to support my family financially. So एक दिन randomly मैंने Google किया how to become rich and make money, and वहाँ पे आ गया stock market. तो उस दिन मैंने बोला मेरे को यही करना है, because that is how I can become rich overnight, right? But when you come and when you experience things, you get to know कि अच्छा ये इतना easy नहीं है. And yeah, so that was my that is how I came in the market. And as I said, I've met the right people at the right time, so I'm very, very grateful for that. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey till now.
ये मेरे को पूछना है, बेसिकली जैसे काफी सारे स्टार्टअप है, सब कुछ
Mike, please.
Mike.
So that everyone will hear.
अरे लेट हिम फिनिश द क्वेश्चन ना, उसको मत फिनिश मोते ओके माइक का दे, ही वाज द फर्स्ट वन.
থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ফর গিভিং দিস মি অপরচুনিটি। অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি গত 10-12 বছর ধরে আমার ফ্যামিলি বিজনেসে সাপোর্ট করছি, অ্যান্ড ওয়েন আই ওয়াজ ইন ক্লাস 8-9 ফাদারের সাথে গ্র্যান্ডফাদারের সাথে বিজনেসের মধ্যে আছি। তো একটা এক্সপিরিয়েন্স আছে যে লোকাল মার্কেটের মধ্যে পূজা আইটেমস, ওয়েডিং আইটেমসগুলো কীরকম ডিমান্ড আছে। তো আমাদের অনেকগুলো কাস্টমার্স থাকে যারা মানে হোম ডেলিভারি চায় কলকাতার মধ্যে, তো আমরা তাদেরকে প্রোভাইড করছি। তো এবার লকডাউন থেকে একটা যেহেতু স্টোর সব ক্লোজ, আমাদের বিজনেসটা একটু ডাউন, ইনকাম কম, তো আমি একটু ট্রাই করলাম যে কলকাতার বাইরে কিরকম অপরচুনিটিস আছে ডেলিভারিজ নিয়ে। তো জাস্ট ওয়েবসাইট সার্চ করলাম, মানে গুগলে সার্চ করলাম কীভাবে ওয়েবসাইট বানাবো অ্যান্ড অল। তো ইউটিউবে শিখে বিকম অনার্স, তো ইউটিউবে একটু দেখে দেখে একটা ওয়েবসাইট ডেভেলপ করলাম, 3-4 মাস লাগলো। তারপরে প্রোডাক্টসগুলো লঞ্চ করলাম, and my first target was কি কলকাতার মধ্যে যদি কোনো অর্ডার আসে জাস্ট ডোমেন অ্যান্ড হোস্টিং এর যা এক্সপেন্স আসছে ওটা যদি এক বছরের মধ্যে তুলে নিই আমি ভাববো যে এটার মধ্যে ফিউচার আছে বাট ফার্স্ট অর্ডার আই এম গেটিং ফ্রম ব্যাঙ্গালোর অ্যান্ড ইটস মোর দ্যান 10-12,000 অ্যান্ড তার মধ্যে একটা স্কোপ দেখলাম ফার্স্ট মান্থ সেকেন্ড মান্থও আমাদের অর্ডার্স কিপ গোয়িং ইনক্রিজিং হতে থাকলো ফার্স্ট ইয়ার অ্যাজ আ ট্রাই করতে করতে অর্গ্যানিক্যালি আমরা অর্ডার্স আসতে থাকছে তারপর সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে আমরা আরও অর্ডার্স করলাম each and every year 2x করে গ্রোথ অর্গানিক্যালি আসছে তো লাস্ট দিস ইয়ার 2024 অব্দি আমরা 850 থেকে 1000 অর্ডার মতন আমরা প্রসেস করলাম উইদাউট এনি মার্কেটিং উইদাউট এনি সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া অ্যাক্টিভিটি জাস্ট অর্গানিক গুগলে সার্চ করছে অ্যামাজনে সার্চ করছে তো এটা তো আমরা এখন যা বিজনেস করছি আই এম নট বিং শাই আই ডোন্ট ওয়ান্ট টু বি শাই 30 lakhs এর মতন আমাদের টার্নওভার আছে অর্গানিক্যালি উইদাউট এনি মার্কেটিং তো আমাদের যা পোটেনশিয়াল আছে আমরা জানি যে এটা 5 টাইমসও নয় এর মধ্যে যদি আমরা অ্যাওয়ারনেস রাখি যদি কাস্টমারদেরকে বলি যে উই আর প্রোভাইডিং দিস কাইন্ড অফ ফ্যাসিলিটি টু এভরিওয়্যার আমাদের ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কাস্টমার্সও আছে যারা এইসব প্ল্যাটফর্ম খুঁজছিল যে মানে পিওর বেঙ্গলি কাস্টমার যারা ইউএসএ তে সেটেল আছে কিন্তু ওদের অথেন্টিক আইটেমস পাচ্ছে না ওরা ফ্যামিলি মেম্বার্সকে বলছে যে তুমি যদি আসো তাহলে এই জিনিসটা ক্যারি করে নিয়ে আসবে সেই জিনিসটা আমরা ওদেরকে প্রোভাইড করছি সেম গোস ফর ব্যাঙ্গালোর দিল্লি সব জায়গাতে তো এই প্রোডাক্টসগুলো আমরা করছি এই বিজনেসের মধ্যে তো আমাদের এখন সরি আমাদের এখন যে কোয়েশ্চেন হচ্ছে যে ফান্ডিং এর মধ্যে আমাদের যেরকম রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ফর এক্সাম্পল আমাদের পুরো ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল মডেল রেডি আছে নেক্সট 1 ইয়ার সেকেন্ড ইয়ার অবধি তো ফান্ডিং এর জন্য রিকোয়ারমেন্ট আছে সেরকম লোকের আমাদের গাইডেন্স চাই সেরকম লোকের সাথে আমরা কানেক্ট করতে চাই যে আমাদেরকে গাইড করবে যে কতটা ফান্ডিং কিভাবে কি স্টেজে আমরা পাবো কোথার সাথে কানেক্ট করবো তো সেই প্রসেসটা আমরা জানতে চাই থ্যাংক ইউ
Okay. Okay, so basically you want to understand the process, right? So like one thing which I've observed in many founders is that कि मतलब they themselves are not much aware कि उनको करना क्या है. For example, I've met someone and he was doing very good. मतलब he was growing 20% year on year and everything was good, completely bootstrapped. But just because other people are raising funds, उनको भी fund raise करना है. But what is the point? Like, see, if you are growing 10-20%, you are happy with that, bootstrap, that is completely fine. But the question is that, do you want to grow at 50-100%? Do you want to grow like the speed of growth? Like if you are raising funds, if you want to grow more faster, then just go and raise funds. Otherwise, if you are happy with 10-20% growth, you're like जो भी internal accrual है उससे you are funding, reinvesting in the business, you are very happy with that, then no point of going and raising funds in the market just because other people are doing it. So just first understand that what is the kind of growth you are expecting, you want, or उस हिसाब से how much funds you would require, right? After that, like initially, like I'm a big believer in angel funding. So probably initially when we started, we also raised funds through our friends and family, right? In the ticket size of say 3, 4, 5 lakh rupees. So if you can get 5-10 such people, right, who would come and support you, 10 लोग अगर 3 लाख करके भी डाल रहे, you would get the seed funding 30 lakh rupees, right? And the process is very easy. मतलब this is not something which you can do, but your CA will do, right? So they will like get everything in a very organized way. And you will have to set a certain valuation at which valuation you want to raise funds. Maybe the valuation you can get from your peer companies. Suppose for us in Chaigram, all the peer companies, if I talk about Wow Momo or Rebel Foods or anything, they all are like getting a valuation of around 5 to 7 times of sales, right? So that is probably the standard valuation which even I can go and ask from my investors. तो बहुत बार क्या होता है कि even in valuation, investors go and ask for weird and crazy valuation which is not even justified. So like if you are very clear how much funding you want to raise, at what valuation you want to raise, just go out and speak with, initially try to get money from friends and family. That is the best way to raise funds. And I think that is the way to go. And वो जो paper work है, documentation है, उस पर आपको दिमाग नहीं लगाना है, वो आपकी CE करके दे देंगे. You just need to make a valuation certificate and आपके जितने भी investors हैं, they will get an offer letter and after that they can transfer the money in a bank account.
I have 2 questions basically. My first question is, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Hi there. So I had a question actually. So what kind of a company will go for the investment. In the sense, I am right now, my cloud kitchen which I'm starting, it's a sole proprietor. So for a sole proprietor, can we raise investment, and if so, what are the avenues for it?
I think you have to be a private limited company to raise funds. You can't raise funds like by being a LLP, a partnership, or a sole proprietorship. So the first thing is that if you're planning to raise funds, create a private limited company.
Alright, but like, can I get an angel investor for a sole proprietor?
I don't think so.
You can get loans.
Your money cannot come in.
Right. Cheers. Thank you.
Can I ask my questions?
Yes,
Two
ma'am.
questions. One is, we talked of valuations. One is, if you can help us understand what is the role of valuation, one. And secondly, you said valuations can be crazy, but they can be realistic also. We all have seen the great example when the company did about 60 lakhs and they got valuated at 3,000 CR, right? And that is how they got funded. So if you can help us, and that was real time. I mean, we all know how it became 3,000 CR. You would of all the people because you are into this game. What is the role of valuation in an investment game? If you can help us understand. I mean, why is it even important? You can have a Hindu rate of growth, which means you're growing at a certain rate, you can continue to grow with that and ask for fund there. Or you can do a certain valuation and want to infuse funds and reach there. Okay, so how to get the sweet spot there is what I want to understand. Am I able to explain my question to you, or should I go around once again?
So I feel that the valuation is something which is very subjective, right? If investors are ready to pay, and if entrepreneurs can sell the story, like why they think the certain valuation is justified for their company, right? For example, I'll tell you. So what if any like second time entrepreneur who already built like say 1000 crore brand and he's starting a new company, right? So he has already proved himself, right? So today if he starts a new company, maybe at a seed round he might get a valuation of 30 CR without even like making any revenue, right? Because he has already proved himself. So for someone who has already built, for example, if this might be very extreme example, but still, like if Elon Musk was supposed to start a company, right? People would be willing to give him any valuation even at pre-revenue stage because that guy has already proved himself and they know if I'm betting on him, he will figure out and he'll grow my money from here. So valuation is very subjective. If entrepreneur can sell the story and investors are ready to pay for that, I think that is pretty much like depends on both of them. But yeah, initially for a first-time founder, I feel you should always align your valuation with your peer companies. That is probably the best way to go ahead.
I wanted to ask for the benefit of the audience, what are the key metrics whenever a startup founder is pitching to an investor? Two things. What are the key points that they should actually address in the pitch? Number one, and what are the key metrics that they should have answers to?
I feel one thing which is very important is like you go and speak without using any jargons, because if you can explain your business model in a very simple terms without using any jargons, or because investors are meeting so many entrepreneurs, right? They are more smart, they understand वो AI, blockchain, crypto ये सब words use करके if they find कि हम उनका application क्या है हमारे model में हमारे business में, so that doesn't work. मतलब try to make it very simple. So normally when I go and pitch to investors, I keep it in three parts. One, I start with the business model, what we are doing currently, like जो भी हमारा business model है. For example, if I had to pitch Chaigram today, so I would start with our business model. In Chaigram, we have two vertical. One is QSR and second is FMCG. So in QSR, we have multiple brands like 99 Thali Shop, Chaigram Canteen, Calcutta Street Food. In FMCG, we have got multiple products like ghee, noodles, snacks. So that is all about business model part one. Now coming on the part two, that is numbers. Like what are the current numbers? So currently we are doing around 30 crore run rate, and 70% of the revenue is coming from QSR and 30% of the revenue is coming from FMCG. So that was all about numbers. Now coming on the third part, which is like what are your future plans. So for Chaigram, like the future plan would be that in the next 2 years we want to open 100 outlets in our QSR. We want to achieve 100 crore revenue in another 2 years, and we want to go for IPO in the next 2 years. So that should be your pitch in a very simple manner. Focus on just 3 parts: business model, current numbers, and future plans. That's it. So like the more you can make it simplify for investors, the more they would want to put money and they would like to speak with you. So yeah.
How did you find potential investors for your company?
Honestly, like I'll be very honest. As I said, I've been investing in markets since last 10 years. So like we have conducted a lot of workshops across cities. So from there we have built a very good network of investors, and they have seen us growing over the years. So that is like one X factor which comes in my case, because like they have seen my journey, they have seen my growth. So probably like एक trust factor build हो जाता है, right? So the best way is to, and this is a long process, like this will not happen overnight. If you want to raise funds today, if you say कि कल मैं जाके इनसे मिला, इन्होंने मेरे को funding नहीं दिया, that is not how it works. You need to build relationships, like create your chain network of 100, 200 people. So as I always see that, like for any entrepreneur, like before building a product, try to build a community. Like if you have got 100 people behind you supporting you, like anything, they can be your first investors, they can be your first customers, they can be your first distributors, suppliers, franchisee owner, they could be anything, right? So like if you have a community, that I think that will help a lot. And during COVID, I myself, like I just started building my own community. So today on Twitter, I have got 32,000 followers, and you guys won't believe that most of our investors I've got and I've met through my Twitter, because they have seen my journey, they have seen my growth over the years. So I feel the conversion rate is very high in such cases, right? How many of you are creating content? How many of you are building your own audience? So I think in today's time, that is very important to build your own brand, personal brand, and to build that level of trust, right? So yeah.
So as an investor, what you will see, exit strategy or product or service more?
As an investor, I would only look for founder.
Founder.
Yeah. क्या courage है, like how honest he is, honesty, integrity, and courage and hardworking. मतलब these are most basic thing I would look for.
Can you help us in exit strategies? So many investors will not see on the founders, they will see how they will exit and they will get the multiple. So many people doesn't know this. Can you help us?
ऐसे जो मतलब मीटिंग के पहले एग्जिट का बात करें ना, उससे आप दूर ही रहो, मतलब ऐसे इन्वेस्टर्स से. तो या एग्जिट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. यू शुड हैव सम रोड मैप इन योर माइंड की for me, if I'm pitching my company today, I have an exit plan. Like I can see कि we are planning for IPO in another 3 years, right? So there should be some exit plan. But honestly, मतलब this all a narrative. मतलब एक founders को भी नहीं पता है कि अगले 2-3 साल में क्या होने वाला है. And I feel most of the smart investors are aware of this and they understand कि हाँ ठीक है. मतलब if we can scale our business, even if you can find a buyer in private market as well. If today my company is not listed, right, but I can get you like multiple buyers who are ready to buy my company share even in the private market, because we are growing and the numbers are here, we are profitable. So I think if as long as you are growing, your numbers are there, your metrics are right, you will always find buyer. Pitching process, I think it would be same as I said, like just now. You can divide your pitching in 3 parts. Number 1 would be your business model. Number 2 would be your current numbers, and number 3, what are your future plans? I think this will pretty much cover everything.
इन्वेस्टर बहुत सारे metrics पूछते हैं.
ठीक है, कौन सा मेट्रिक्स को हम लोग को ध्यान रखना चाहिए ताकि इन्वेस्टर जो लोग क्वेश्चन पूछे हम उनको प्रिपेयर रहे.
I think it depends from industry to industry. Again, if I'm using example of our industry, आपका बिरयानी बाबू, right? So in QSR, like some of the most interesting or important metrics would be like same store sales growth, right? Then what is your rent to revenue ratio? What is your salary to revenue ratio? Then how much of your percentage of revenue you are spending on marketing? So I feel these are some of the important metrics. Even in our QSR model, one of the most important metrics would be like fixed asset to sales ratio. मैं 1 रुपया डाल के उसका कितना आउटकम बना रहा हूँ, right? If I'm investing like 5 CR in my assets, by putting those 5 CRs, am I able to generate a sales of revenue of 20-25 CR? If your fixed asset ratio is not 4 to 5x, I think that would be pretty much a bad capital allocation, I would say. So these are some of the important metrics. But again, if you go in a SaaS industry, if you go in any other industry, I think then again in a social media, in a tech company, the metrics would be very much different. These people will look for your daily active users, monthly active users. So yeah, it depends from industry to industry. Probably I would go and raise funds when I have some solid numbers. Matlab I will never go and will ask for funding on an idea stage. Because वहाँ पे the probability of getting funds is very low. I think most of the people are just wasting their time. I won't say wasting their time, but the probability. I'm a big believer in timing and probability. So अगर आपका probability is like less than 1%, then what's the point? Just focus on your business. Have some numbers, like basic numbers. If you have got 100 customers, if you are doing minimum 5 to 10 lakh rupees per month, you have some numbers, right? Then go and ask. क्योंकि वहाँ पे investors को भी पता है कि product market fit हो गया है in some way. So I would say कि the biggest mistake would be like कि yesterday I met someone, I won't name, but again he was building some gaming company and pretty much he was on the idea stage and he's looking to raise around 8 to 10 crore of funding. So again, do you think what is the probability of him getting the funds? Very less. So I think probably if you have some minimum numbers, that will help a lot. Thank you.
Ayush.
Mike.
Can I ask?
No.
হ্যালো আয়ুষ, বলছি আমি যদি হালকা ক্যাশ বার্ন করে মান্থলি সেলসটাকে আমার 10-20x দিই করে তাহলে কি ওটা ঠিক আছে ইনভেস্টরের সাইড থেকে?
For me, like cash burn is not a problem. For me, like if your metrics are wrong, that is the problem. So like it depends on how much cash you are burning. For example, if you are spending that money on capex, not on opex, like there are a lot of factors which you need to consider. So as long as your metrics are correct, I think that cash burn can be scaled down, right? But अगर आपका metrics गलत है, then you need revamp करना would become very difficult. So it depends कि आप cash burn कहाँ कर रहे हो.
मतलब আমি এটা বলছি যে ক্যাশ বার্নটা আমি ইউজ করবো না, আমি ক্যাশ বার্নটা অল্প করবো কিন্তু আমার সেলটাকে অনেক হাই করে দেবো, তো ইনভেস্টরের পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ থেকে এটা ঠিক আছে?
So that's like now again the question is that sales is sustainable or not. Like if you are burning cash and एक बार के लिए आपके sales में hype आ गया, but that sales is sustainable, that is the biggest question. For example, if I'm selling something like online D2C, right? I can spend like suppose I have a marketing budget of 1 CR. I spend on Facebook ad, Insta ad and everything, and मेरा sales एक बार के लिए pump हो गया. But once I stop my spending on marketing, will my sales be sustainable? So that is the biggest question you need to figure out. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hi Ayush. So my question is like a follow-up kind of question of him only. So I wanted to ask like you said that break the pitch into 3 parts. That is like the first is your business model, the second is your ROI, CAC, of the metrics, and the third is your go-to-market. So I think
Future plans.
yeah, go-to-market. So I think like related to this cash burn thing. So like, do you think like what are the things that investors prefer more in go-to-market? Like, is there any specific thing that you have noticed that investor preferred more in go-to-market that like cracks the deal or something like that?
I think if your question is on the cash burn side, matlab, just to give you a very easy.
No, it's not specifically on the cash burn. Like you can have a cash burn, but like apart from that, like not just the cash burn in general. Like I'm going with a genuine plan and my sales are all right, and I'm going with a proper go-to-market. So do you prefer like? Is there any strategy you have noticed that like cracks the deal easily, something like that?
I mean, like if you're doing good with numbers, then it all depends how you narrate that story. And मतलब आपका क्या future plans है, किस way में आप उसको execute करोगे, उनका आपके दिमाग में कैसा clear path है. Those are the very important things which investors would look for. So if you have a clear roadmap कि मेरे को ऐसे grow करना है, and that should be backed with some very like strong fundamental thing, right? ऐसा नहीं कि I'll grow my sales at 50% year on year or month on month. If I'm saying if I'll grow 100% year on year, I have some very strong plans behind it. Like I have this much capital, I'll invest 5 lakh rupees in first store, I'll open 50 outlets in another 1 year, and per outlet will give me a revenue of 5 lakh rupees with a 10% margin. So if I do my calculation, I'll make a revenue of 5 crore, whatever. So this is the path you need to show to them, and you need to make them understand that this is how I'll achieve. ऐसा नहीं कि you know, बस ऊपर से I'll do this. So I think that helps a lot.
हाँ,
Yes.
आपके अनुसार अभी तक जो आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, वेंचर फंड के थ्रू इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए कि डायरेक्ट कंपनीज के साथ बात करके समझ के फिर इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए? अभी तक आपका जो जर्नी है उसके अनुसार.
मेरे हिसाब से हेलो अच्छा I would never put my money in any company, especially if it's a startup, if I don't know the promoter or management. Like I know there are many people who invest through angel funds या any other platform where वो लोग Zoom पे बस 1 घंटे का कॉल करा देते हैं फिर ले लेते हैं, because ऐसे जो platforms है ना, उनका main motive क्या होता है ना, if they raise funds they will get commission out of that. So they will, like every month they will get some startup and they will make them pitch to you, a group of investors, because उनका ultimate motive is like to get funds. उनका skin in the game नहीं है, they are not putting money with you, right? So normally in startups I would never put my money in any company where I don't know the founders personally, because at such a small level you are betting on the founder, right? So I feel you should at least meet founder once, you should have some conversation with him one-on-one and understand कि कैसा energy है उनका, like वो बात है या नहीं है. मतलब I think there's some basic things you can like you know, after meeting so many people you can have an opinion on anyone. So I think I would only invest or put my money in any company where I know the founders personally.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is this, that we are running one company in China and one company in India. The thing is this, it is a profitable company and there is no any other investor or any debts. Now the thing is this, we want to scale up the business, in India business. Like India, we have one brand called Winnie Looks, and now we are catering around 1800 stores, mostly in eastern area of India. Okay, and they are the independent retail optical store, not a chain store. So the thing is this, everything by our own money, but we want to scale up the company. So now I want to, funding is one matter, but more than funding, we need the guidance and need the connect, how we can do this thing. Our view is this, like, for export business, we are well equipped with the export business, that is our main business. But our main target is this: we want to build up winning looks like a Ray-Ban before 2040, because we are already the designer and manufacturer, so we know the product. But the thing is this: in India market, we cannot get the team, or you can say also the proper funding and guidance. How we step by step we build up the business first in India, then all over the world, like a Ray-Ban. So if you little guide me, that will be great.
Honestly, in my experience, I've seen that if you're really looking for some guidance or as such, then I think you should meet people as many times as possible if you really want guidance from someone, right? For example, as we were talking about this guy, right? So he was like constantly coming in all the events. He was constantly meeting Arun Bhai. He was constantly going any and everywhere where he was present, because he wanted guidance from him. He wanted to get him at any cost, right? So the more you meet people, the more it builds trust factor. So I think that will obviously help a lot. But second, numbers तो fundamental चीज़ है. If your numbers are good, then उसको तो उसका कुछ alternative है नहीं. If your numbers are good, then just go out and meet people, try to build relationships, and the more people, क्या पता उनके through आपको कुछ और मतलब किसी और का connect मिल जाए. So I'll share a very interesting story. Like me and Arun Bhaiya, how we came to meet Anirban of this Chaigram thing. We went and I went to an event, and वहाँ से I got to connect with someone. उन्होंने अपने को और एक startup से connect कराया. वो startup वाले ने अपने को Chaigram से connect कराया. And that is how when we formed a group, and that is how we started Chaigram. So we never thought कि ऐसा यहाँ से वहाँ का connection आएगा, वहाँ से यहाँ का आएगा. ये भी ऐसा हो सकता है, right? So I think probably that is the best way. Just go meet people. कब कहाँ से कौन सा connection निकल जाए, you never know.
Thank you for this. Just I have one last question. Can you get one list of investors or something? Because I am staying in China. I will come back. So then we can follow up and we can meet this thing. Can you get from this community one list of investors?
So in our startup, I already have got more than 20 people from B who have been personally invested in my company. So I can share the list with you all. Just go and meet them, understand the thought process, what are the feedbacks they are giving, and you can work on them. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
So one of the best thing that has worked for me is that whenever I have gone to teach to my investors, मैंने कभी अपने धंधा के बारे में बात ही नहीं किया है. I always went there to build relationships. So funding was the outcome. Like आप कभी भी ऐसे जाके ना pitch मत करो, because people क्या होता है ना, people always hate being उनको आप कुछ बेचोगे ना तो उनको पसंद नहीं है. That is the psychology. So just go and understand their story and understand उनका क्या life story है, कैसे उनका क्या journey रहा है अब तक. I think that always helps a lot. And यहाँ पे अगर कोई भी हमारे investors होंगे, I've never pitched directly to anyone. You can ask anyone. I've always met them. Try to understand their journey, क्या कर रहे हैं life में, उनका story सुनो आप, उनसे feedback लो. So I think that is the best way to build relationships, and वो outcome अगर आप actual relationship build करने जा रहे हो तो outcome will be good. Yes.
I am running a restaurant at Krishnanagar Nadia. So my question is, number one is the analysis. We are doing around 24 lakhs of revenue per year, and this is our third year. So what we have seen, the projected revenue for this year also is going to be 24 lakhs. So we are seeing somewhere our sales has been capped. So means how I gauge that, is it the maximum we can do there, or we are doing something wrong, that's why our sales is increasing? That is the first thing. And second thing is the growth. The Chaigram is saying we are going to open 100 Chaigram in overall Calcutta, I think, if I am not wrong. So for me, how should I project my growth? Means ये 100 वाला number आया कहाँ से? मेरे लिए ये number कैसे हो सकता है? How to calculate that number कि मेरा इतना growth हो सकता है? So my target market is tier 3 city. Right? We are in Krishnanagar, so nearby is Ranaghat is there, Chakra is there. There are a lot of टायर 3 सिटीज है। सो एक सिटी में उस कृष्णनगर में मेरा एक आउटलेट काफ़ी है या फिर मुझे दूसरा आउटलेट भी करना है, तो ये सारा चीज़ें कैलकुलेट कैसे होता है, मतलब लॉजिकली कैसे डिराइव करूँगा इस पॉइंट।
One thing which I've learned over the last 10 years is that कि मतलब until you reach a scale of 100 crore, like आप बोलो ही मत कि आपका market saturate हो गया है या you have hit the peak or anything, because in the market like India we have got a population of 140 CR. I know so many businesses and I study so many businesses. Reaching a 100 crore scale is not a big thing. मतलब like it's really not that tough if you have got that dedication and आपको actual में वो build करना है. तो market is very big. Even we can even imagine. I'll just give you a very simple data. Like in China we have total number like in India we have total number of restaurants listed on Zomato is around 3 lakhs. In China we have that number more than 1 CR. We both share the same population, right? In China we have got 10,000 number of KFCs. In India we have got 1,000 KFCs. In China, like the average order per day on this food aggregators are somewhere around 6 to 7 crore. In India, Zomato ka per day ka order is around 20 lakhs, which is nothing compared to China, right? So I think market is super, like is crazy big. Hitting 50-100 crore is really not a big thing. Even in Calcutta, when we said that we'll open 100 outlets, then people might have made fun of कि 100 आउटलेट आप एक ही सिटी में कैसे करोगे इतना, मतलब you know it's like इतने बगल में and all that. But all our outlets are profitable and we are doing pretty much good. Like we have, I'll just give you example. Like we have an outlet in Sulekha, Jadavpur. We have an outlet in Ganguly Bagan. We have one outlet in Kali Bazar, Garya. Then we have another outlet in Sunapur. All are this within 1, 2, 3, 4 kilometer radius. So I think, and all are doing like around 8 to 10 lakh rupees per month. So market is there. मतलब उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. And it depends like कि आपका क्या business model है. For us, we just need footfall. Like if we get good footfall, we just need to provide quality food and affordable pricing. I think we'll sell. तो आप कुछ भी धंधा करो, I think like इंडिया में 50-100 करोड़ हिट करना is not a big thing. मतलब जितना मैंने देखा है.
Regarding that footfall, I will just one question. How to increase that footfall? Means मेरा जो problems are right now, we are at मेरा sale पे cap लग गया. We are feeling that kind of thing, and we are trying that digital marketing and everything, but it's like we are going dimensionless. मतलब कभी ये कर रहा हूँ, कभी वो कर रहा हूँ, तो इसका थोड़ा सा एक direction अगर आप दे देते, how to increase?
I feel हर एक store का एक saturation level होता है. For us, for our big outlets, the saturation level is 15-16 lakh ka sales. For a small outlet, the saturation level is like 5-6 lakh ka sales. So once you achieve that saturation at store level, you should move on to the next store. Like just go and open more outlets. Because like I think अभी तक हमारा जितना experience रहा है, मतलब if you are providing quality food at affordable price, आप बेचोगे, धंधा बहुत है मतलब. It's like कि और मतलब धंधा आपको मिलेगा, मतलब you do anything in food business in Calcutta in India, मतलब like
मार्केटिंग पे कितना कॉस्ट मतलब काटती है?
Spend zero on marketing. मतलब rather I would say कि अगर आप small scale में हो ना, rather than spending money on marketing, you pass on that price to customer. If your quality is good, वो mouth word में और 10 लोग ले आएंगे, right? तो if I'm spending like I know in companies in my space they are spending they are doing marketing ads on IPL, but probably I would pass on that price to my customer now. So that is how it works if you are at a small level. Yeah.
Thank you Alan.
There. ये दो दिन में बैठे हैं.
Like so in your market there are so many big players like Chai, Sutta Bar, MBA Chai Wala. So how did you convince the investors that you are different from them?
Sir, मतलब अभी मैंने बताया, मतलब honestly even if we have 100 more chai gram ना, आप वो market मतलब cater नहीं कर पाओगे. There's so much of demand. मतलब मानो कि अभी QSR इंडस्ट्री is just starting. मतलब इंडस्ट्री लेवल पे we are growing at 30%, right? If any industry is growing at 30% for the next 10 years, just think about the compounding.
আজকের আপনাদের ভিডিওটা কেমন লাগলো অবশ্যই জানান, এবং আপনাদের যদি ভিডিওটা ভালো লেগে থাকে তাহলে অবশ্যই সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন, লাইক করবেন, শেয়ার করবেন আপনাদের ফ্যামিলি অ্যান্ড ফ্রেন্ডসদের সাথে। কোন ফ্রেন্ডসদের সাথে করবেন? যারা এন্টারপ্রেনিয়রশিপে ইন্টারেস্টেড, যারা ফার্স্ট জেনারেশন এন্টারপ্রেনিয়র, এবং যারা এন্টারপ্রেনিয়রশিপ করতে করতে বা বিজনেস করতে করতে একটু স্টাক হয়ে গেছে, তাদেরকে অবশ্যই এই ভিডিওগুলো দেখাবেন। অনেক নতুন তথ্য আছে যেটা তাদের খুব কাজে লাগবে, এবং পারলে আপনারা BE মিটার নেক্সট মান্থে আসবেন। তাহলে আজকের মতো চলি, অবশ্যই সাবস্ক্রাইব করতে ভুলবেন না। নমস্কার। নমস্কার।